Hello and welcome back to Liberty Kids Online. If you don't know me, my name is Naomi and I am so happy to see you today. I hope that you all have been enjoying the beautiful weather that we've been having. It's been really nice and sunny and warm. It finally almost feels like summer. In fact, today was a little bit too warm. I was trying to sit outside and read my book and I got a little bit too hot. So I decided to come inside and do something for a little while. And what I found in my cupboard was a puzzle. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I love to do puzzles. And I've been working on this one today, but I have lost the top of the box that has the picture of what this puzzle is supposed to be. And you can see there are no other pictures to show me what this puzzle is supposed to look like when it's finished. I can see lots of different shapes and colors and make guesses about what it's showing me. But really, until this puzzle is completely put together, I'm not going to know what it looks like. And that's actually been making the puzzle pretty difficult and a little bit frustrating because I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I'm only able to put together one piece at a time. Working in this puzzle reminded me of the verse that we're going to talk about in church today. We've been working our way through the book of Ecclesiastes, which is in the Old Testament, and this book is full of wisdom about life and death and everything in between. And today we're going to talk about Ecclesiastes chapter 7. And the verse that I was thinking of is right in the middle of the chapter, verse 14. And it talks about how we don't know what's going to happen in our lives. Only God has the whole picture. And it says this: when times are good, be happy. But when times are bad, consider this: God has made one as well as the other. Therefore, no one can discover anything about the future. So what does that mean? It means that we can rejoice in good times. We can be happy when good things are happening. But when bad things happen to us, we can remember this: that God is in control of everything. As people, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next year, 100 years from now. We don't even know everything that's going to happen in our own lives. We can try to make plans about things that will happen to us and to other people, but ultimately, God is the only one who really knows the future. It's kind of like working a puzzle with no picture. Only God has the top of the box with the picture on it. All we get is a few pieces at a time, and we try to fit them together as best we can. Now, sometimes that can feel really scary and frustrating because I don't know about you, but I like to know what's coming ahead so that I can make a plan and I can feel like I'm in control. I especially want to know if bad things are going to happen to me. But at the end of the day, I have to have faith that God's plan is perfect. Because I know Jesus and I believe that He wants good things for me, I never have to be worried about the future, even if I can't see the whole picture. I know that God does, and that He is working all things together for my good. Now, how do I know that God is planning good things for me? Well, let's look at a few more passages from the Bible. In Jeremiah chapter 29, God says this: "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." In this verse, God promises us that He has plans for us that are good. He has plans to give us a purpose, a hope, and a future, and not give us things that are bad and harmful for us. It says in the book of Matthew that we never have to worry about anything. Not what we're going to eat, not what we're going to drink, not what we're going to wear, because God clothes the lilies of the field. God feeds the birds of the sky, and we are much more important than birds or flowers. We know that if God loves the world that much, He loves us even more. So when we think about our lives and we think about the good things that have happened to us and the bad things, we can trust that God has a plan for us from beginning to end. The story of our life is already written down in God's book, and He already knows what the ending will be like, even if we don't. Talking about these things makes me think of a very special story that I once heard about a woman named Corrie ten Boom. Now, if you don't know Corrie ten Boom, she is a Dutch woman who lived during the Second World War. And she was an amazing Christian woman who loved God a lot, who prayed, who went to church, who had Christian friends. And she did a great work during World War II, hiding Jewish people in her house and helping them safely get away from the Nazi Party. She was an amazing person, and if you're interested in her story, you can actually visit her house in Haarlem. The Corrie ten Boom Museum is a great place to visit to learn more about this woman. But even though Corrie ten Boom loved Jesus, even though she trusted him with her life and did lots of good things, Corrie ten Boom's life was not always easy. In fact, she had a really difficult time during the war. Because she was not supposed to be hiding Jewish people in her house, some soldiers came one day and took her and her sister, and they put them in a terrible camp and made them work very hard. In fact, Corrie ten Boom's sister even died in that camp, and Corrie herself almost died. It's easy to look at Corrie ten Boom's life and wonder, why would God let something so terrible happen to a woman who was so good, a woman who loved him and was doing the right thing? I think even Corrie ten Boom wondered this herself. But we know the end of Corrie ten Boom's story because she lived a long time ago. And so we know that after this terrible experience in the camps, God actually had a great purpose for Corrie ten Boom, and she was able to take all of the hardship that she had experienced and have an amazing ministry all over the world, talking to people who had been through really difficult things. Because of the experiences that she had had, the bad, hard experiences, she knew how to give wisdom to other people. God had a plan for Corrie ten Boom even in her darkest moments. And he has a plan for you too. I wanted to show you something that Corrie ten Boom said. She liked to sew and do embroidery and needlework. And if you visit her house, you can see a very special embroidery that she made. A tapestry, she called it. And at first, you will see the back side of the tapestry. Now, the back side of the tapestry does not look very nice. It's all big mess of jumbled up threads and knots, all different colors. It doesn't really make a picture or look like anything nice. And Corrie ten Boom said, "This is how I see my life. Just lots of lines crossing over each other. It looks like a big mess to me. But when you turn the embroidery around, this is the picture that God sees. It was a beautiful crown. God sees all of the mess of our lives and transforms it into something amazing and beautiful. God has the big picture." I want you to think this week about things that have happened in your life. And maybe you're very young, but I'm sure you can think of some good things that have happened and some bad things. You can have peace in your heart, knowing that God has good things planned for you, and that even the hardest things that you will have to go through in life are part of his great picture for you. But maybe you can also think of some difficult things that have happened that have actually ended up being really good. Maybe you've moved to a new country and at first it was really difficult, but now you have a lot of friends, or you found a purpose. Or maybe there are other things that have happened to you that seem really difficult at first, but on the other side, you can see why God had you walk through those things. I hope that it's encouraging for you to hear that God loves you and that He has a purpose for your life. If you want to know more about this amazing message and the great love that God has for you and the big picture of your life, the light and the dark, the bad and the good working together, then I encourage you to stay and listen to the sermon today. I love you guys. I hope you enjoy your summery days, and I will see you soon. I'm going to get back to this puzzle and try to figure out what it is. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.